ॐ मौनव्याख्या प्रकटितपरब्रह्मतत्त्वं युवानं वर्षिष्ठान्ते वसदृशिगणैरावृतं ब्रह्मनिष्ठैः आचार्येन्द्रं करकलितचिन्मुद्रमानन्दरूपं स्वात्मा रामं मुदितवदनं दक्षिणामूर्तिमीडे यन्नित्यमानन्दमनन्तमेकं शिवेति नाम्ना श्रुतयो गृह्णन्ति तस्यावतारो नररूपधारी कृपासुदाब्धि भुवि रामकृष्णः जननीं शारदां देवीं रामकृष्णं जगद्गुरुं पादपद्मे तयोः श्रुत्वा प्रणमामि मुहुर्मुहुः। रामाय रामचन्द्राय रामभद्राय वेधसे रघुनाथाय नाथाय सीतायाः पतये नमः। यस्यात्मभूतस्य गुरोः प्रसादात् अहं विमुक्तोऽस्मि शरीरबन्धात् सर्वोपदेष्टुः पुरुषोत्तमस्य तस्याङ्घ्रियुग्मं प्रणतोऽस्मि नित्यम्। सत्यमेव जयते नानृतं सत्येन पन्था विततो देवयानः येनाक्रमन्ति ऋषयो ह्याप्तकामाः यत्र तत्सत्यस्य परमं निधानम्। सत्यमेव जयते न अनृतम is the assertion of the Veda. Satyameva jayate means Satyavan eva jayati. A truthful person alone was successful, is successful and will be successful. Whether it is personal life or social life or religious life or spiritual life. A truthful person alone is successful. This was the assertion we have analyzed last 10 hours. And by the arguments of Bhagavan Rama, which occurs in Valmiki Ramayana, we have analyzed this assertion of the Veda, and Bhagavan Rama established this assertion as a truthful one, truthful assertion through Pratyaksha, Anumana and Shastra Pramana. So far we have analyzed the principle. Now we will see the evidences, case studies. In legal language they call it case study. One is constitutional analysis, amendments, acts, interpretations. Another one is case studies. So here the constitution is what? Satyameva jayate is the constitution. Whether this constitution applies to everyone in all situations is the question. So we will go through some of the case studies hereafter, maybe 3 or 4 classes. So what are the evidence? First will be scriptural evidence. We have three pramanas, 3 sources of knowledge. One is scripture, another one is history, third one is present day today life, present day social life. Today we will see one particular scriptural evidence. There was a Rakshasa who had conquered all the 3 worlds and who declared himself as God. He made everyone to worship him. He ruled these 3 worlds 71 yugas, 71 Chatur yugas. You should not ask, how can it be possible, Swami? 71 Chatur Yugas, who can live? What is the proof for us? Scripture is the proof. Okay? You don't have any proof to negate it. You don't have any proof to negate what Scripture says. So, we take it as it is. 71 Yugas. Ruler of all the three worlds. Master of all the Devatas, Indra, Varuna, all are in his jail. Somebody is brooming, somebody is cleaning his bedroom, like that. Servants for this person. But one problem was, he was not a dharmic person. He was adharmic. This is one side of the family. Another side of the same family, another person in that same family, child of this Rakshasa, 5-year-old boy, not even admitted to school, persecuted by his own Rakshasa father, awarded with a title Mahatma by Bhagavan Narayana himself. Lot of people get awards, okay. So this boy, 5-year-old boy, got award from Bhagavan Narayana. What is the title? Padma Bhushan, Padma Vibhushan nahi. Mahatma. Only 2 persons we find, as far as my knowledge goes, only 2 persons we find who got this award called Mahatma. One person is this person, 5-year-old child. Another person is Hanumanji. Bhagavan should tell an individual as Mahatma. He is so and so Mahatma. Generally we call everyone Mahatma, particularly whoever gives loan to us whenever we need, our Mahatma. What is the criteria? Whenever I need loan, he gives. That type of title we generally get. But here is a person who was titled as Mahatma by Bhagavan. 5-year-old child. Not even admitted to school. Son of this adharmic Rakshasa who has conquered the 3 worlds. You might have remembered his name. What is his name? Prahalada. Bhakta Prahalada. His father name was Hiranyakashipu. You might have heard this story. Today we will analyze the same story in another angle. When Prahalada was 5-year-old, he was sent to school. The school was Institute of Shukacharya, Asura Guru. His personal teachers were Shukacharya's children, Shanda and Marka. Shanda Markau, 2 teachers. That education system of Hiranyakashipu's rule, Hiranyakashipu time, there was an education system. What is that education system? Education is meant for materialistic prosperity. It is meant to teach how to earn money and how to enjoy through that money. And how to win over competitors and how to conquer the enemies. That is the education system meant for. How to oppress noble people, how to worship Hiranyakashipu. Syllabus. These are all syllabus. What are the syllabus? How to worship Hiranyakashipu. Worshipping Hiranyakashipu means what? Worshipping luxury. Worship of luxury. Hiranyam Kashipuku yasya Hiranyakashipu. One who is to lie down and sleep on the golden cot is called Hiranyakashipu. So he declared all the 3 worlds, no subject should be taught, no Bhagavan. So all should worship me, and how to worship, that should be taught. Along with that, ancillary sciences are how to win over enemies, how to persecute the noble people, how to earn and how to enjoy. These are all 4 ancillary subjects. Main subject is what? How to worship Hiranyakashipu. The syllabus was designed by whom? Government, Raja himself. Same thing only now also. All syllabus are designed by government. Because to have a hold on a society, what is the only way? hold on the education syllabus. That time itself is there. Not new for us. Don't teach anything about Bhagavan, Narayana. Teach always Hiranyakashipu, Raja is the only God. And luxury is the only thing a person should attain in the world. And in the process, if necessary, one should exert his own physical and brutal power and oppress the weaker section and oppress the noble people. In that syllabus, designed by the government, by Raja, there was no place for learning the moral life, respecting the noble people, pursuing the spiritual goals, and worship of God. So what to do? Syllabus is designed by government, by Raja, and teachers are paid by same government. So teachers cannot teach something other than the syllabus. Okay? Same syllabus only they will teach. So this Shanda and Marka, they used to teach the syllabus. But Prahlada could not appreciate the syllabus. He could not find any relevance for his personal life, any relevance of this particular syllabus. Now also you see, our children learn and learn and learn for 12 years. But what we learn from the schools, we never use it in our life. That type of syllabus was there that time also. So Prahlada was not at all interested and he did not find any relevance. Since the entire syllabus was about physical existence. Entire syllabus was about earning and spending. Why he did not like? Shastra says, because of his samskara. Somehow naturally he did not like. Some reason must be there. The reason was due to the indirect association with a great rishi called Narada. When he was in his mother's womb, that time his mother went to Narada Bhagavan's ashrama. There Narada Bhagavan was teaching his mother. So his mother used to sleep, but this boy used to hear everything. So because of that samskara, he was not liking the syllabus. Due to that association with noble ones, he learned that the glorious thing in the creation is Bhagavan. He learned the glory of value called Satyam and devotion, and he learned the glory of people who follow these things in their life. Brahmanyaha shila sampannaha satyasando jitendriyaha Atmavat sarva bhutanam ekah priya suhruttamaha. He was a Brahmanyaha, a man who can respect the nobility. It's called Brahmanyaha. See, one should be qualified to even value the value of value. Once more time I am telling. One should be matured enough and qualified even to value the value of value. Suppose there is a value called cleanliness. There is a value called cleanliness. You bring a pig and tell to that pig, cleanliness is very important. Bacteria, viruses are there and you will get cold if you are not clean. Like that, if suppose you go on tell, after hearing what that pig might say, it may not tell anything. It will tell one, it may give one sound and it go back to its own normal place. What these fellows are telling? Normal places. Like that it will go. So one should qualify oneself to value the value of value. Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna used to say, a brinjal seller cannot value the value of diamond. A brinjal seller cannot value the value of diamond. Similarly, even to respect someone who lives these values in his life, people will certainly respect someone who has Mercedes Benz. People will respect someone who is having a post in society. They may respect him because of his degree. And nowadays people respect because of skin color. Horrible it is. Level of thinking. Modern generation thinking level is what? I respect you because you are white in skin color. So that is the condition of the society. All are tangible things. Car is tangible, money is tangible, power is tangible. And of course, skin color is tangible. So how to respect nobility? One should qualify. One should be matured enough to see the value of that, hidden value of that. A jeweler can know the hidden value of the diamond, not the brinjal seller. Brinjal seller will tell is what? I can give maximum 5 rupees. That's what? Any Mahatma, what is the price he gets in this society? Any Mahatma, anybody you take. Even you take Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna. When he was alive with body, what was the price? One sadhu is there, pujari, but don't go near. You will spoil your mind. Necessary, go and give some food, that's all. 5 rupees. 5 rupees. But a person like Swami Vivekananda came and he found, oh, this is the grandest diamond in the creation. Avatara Varishtaha, highest manifestation of the Lord. About the same person, another person says. One person says, mad fellow. Another person says, priest. Third person says, when a drunkard came and saw Sri Ramakrishna first time, Sri Ramakrishna was in intoxication because of his devotional ecstasy. He saw. Drunkard came and asked, hey, he is more intoxicated than me. What brand this fellow might have gulped? Because you can judge something, you can value something according to your knowledge. Understood? So therefore, one should qualify oneself even to value, even to have a glimpse of these valuable things in our life. This is the certificate given by the teacher says, Brahmanyaha Sheela Sampannaha Satya Sandaha. Narada Bhagavan says about Prahalada. Understand? What he says? Brahmanyaha Sheela Sampannaha Satya Sandaha Jitendriyaha Vasudeve Bhagavati Yasya Naisargiki Ratihi Krishna Graha Grihitatma Naveda Jagadidrisham. Previous shloka was about his character. This shloka talks about his devotion to the Lord. His devotion to the Lord. He was possessed by Bhagavan. That is the certificate given by the teacher. Prahlada was possessed by spiritual entity. One day, summer vacation, this Prahlada, who was not at all interested in the government-made syllabus, at the same time, Brahmanyaha, Sheela Sampannaha, Satya Sandaha, and who got lot of convictions about his life and things. When he was sent to house for summer vacation, his father, Hiranyakashipu, asked, my dear child, tell me the best teaching you learned so far. Tell me the best teaching you learned so far. Tell me which one you consider, which teaching you consider as the highest teaching which can give the highest good for human life. What was the question? Tell the best teaching, and the best teaching should be what? It should lead to highest good of a human being. Immediately, as a obedient son, this 5-year-old Prahlada folded his hands and he says, Tatsadu manye suravarya dehinam sada samudvigna dhiyama sadgrahat हित्वात्मपातं गृहमन्धकूपं वनं गतो यद्हरिमाश्रयेत. Hey Asuravarya, oh best among the Asuras, he was addressing his own father. Best among the Asuras means what? Asuraha means Asushu Indriyarteshu Ramate iti Asuraha. One who revels in sensory pleasures is called Asuraha. Among them you are the best one. He is addressing his father. Hey Asuravarya, hey best among the people who revel in the sense pleasures. Dehinam tat sadhu manye. I consider that this particular teaching, which will lead to ultimate goodness to every individual, what is that? Harim ashrayeta. Ultimate goodness lies in taking shelter in Bhagavan, surrendering to Bhagavan Hari. How can he say so? How can he say so? Sada samudvigna dhyam asad grahat. Because every worldly person is attached to his physical existence and therefore he is subject to suffering. The person who is attached to his physical existence, physical individuality, is full of suffering. In order to get away from the suffering, what should he do? Atmapatam griham andhakupam. He should get away from the home called a dungeon home called physical identity. There is a dungeon home. The individual tries to live in that dungeon home and it is infested with lot of snakes and scorpions. How to get away from suffering? Just get away from that dungeon home. What is the dungeon home here? Prahlada means is the identification with our own physical body. Once you give up this identity through this devotion to the Lord Hari, by surrendering to the Lord, this samsara, this pain goes away. Because everyone wants to be happy in their life, but nobody knows what is the means to be happy in life. Everyone wants to be happy in life all the time, unconditionally, but no one knows how to get it. Shastra, Vedanta alone points out the source of all your suffering is association, mental association with your physical body. You can live in the physical body, but you need not associated in the physical with the physical body. That's a difficult task for every ordinary person. As far as Prahlada is concerned, he says, for a sensualist who does not have self-control, his own indriyas become enemies. Correct? For a sensualist who does not have self-control, his own sense organs, his own instruments, his own physical body and mind becomes a enemy. So therefore, vanam gataha san harim ashraye. If necessary, in order to get away from this physical identity, if necessary, one can get away from people around us. Because every time people come near us, they invoke our physical personality. Every time they come. Suppose my mother comes, I become a child, correct? Another person comes, the person becomes husband. Another person comes, the person becomes father. Another person comes, the person becomes brother. Like that, somebody arises in my life, my physical identity is every moment is invoked and invoked and invoked. Even if I want to forget all these physical identities and I want to establish relationship with the Lord in my prayers and meditation, that time also grandchild comes. Grandchild comes. And people who scolded on that morning, they come. That auto rickshaw wala comes. The traffic police come. They are all outside us, but still They are inside. So, when we sit in our home, in order to strike a relationship with the unseen, unphysical entity called Bhagavan, that time also family people say, why you are sitting quietly? No, I am doing meditation. Meditation? Meditation for what? My teacher used to tell, one Westerner complaining about his peace of mind. So he was not having peace of mind. So one friend, Indian friend told, don't worry, you go to Vedanta center. There will be some Swami. So he will guide you. So this Westerner went. And he talked to that Swami. That Swami heard everything. All Swamis have only one solution for every disease. What is that solution? Tell Lord's name, pray to the Lord, Bhagavan will bless you. That is the general. Saridan is there, na? Mental Saridan is this only. Okay. So this Swami also told, don't worry, pray to the Lord, He will bless you. So how can I pray, Swami? So that Swami gave a mantra. Mantra means, you know, that mantra, one Sanskrit word. He told, repeat that mantra. That Westerner asked, what is the meaning of that mantra, Swami? Swami thought, this person may not understand the meaning, so it may confuse him. Simply he told, don't worry, simply chant. That will take care of you. You will get peace of mind. Don't worry. Like that he assured. Because of his loving words and affectionate behavior, this Westerner agreed to chant it at least for 48 days. And out of love, he gave donation $50 to that ashrama and came out. So since he gave word to that Swami, he came back to home and took bath and sat in meditation. His wife, who went to job, from office she came. As even she entered, she saw her husband was sitting in a peculiar posture. For a Westerner, our meditation posture is there, na? Very peculiar, because they cannot sit down, because that is cold place, okay? So always they prefer to sit on the table or chair. So it is our peculiar. Hey John, what you are doing? She asked. He told, don't disturb me. I am chanting mantra. With closed eyes, he was replying. Chanting mantra? Mantra? What does it mean? The mantra means a word. Same word you repeat? Yes. That also is problem for them. They cannot imagine. Repetition of same word. Suppose you call your wife's name, Lakshmi, 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 Lakshmi. Your wife, what she will tell? What happened to you? Morning only you are all right. Again and again you are telling my name. Why? But same thing is done towards the Lord. It is called japa, mantra japa. And you get punya also, you get peace of mind also. You see? So a Westerner can never understand the validity of this mantra repetition. Repeating same word. What's the meaning? I don't know. Hurry, you repeat same word and the meaning also you don't know. How much you paid? She asked. $50. For a meaningless word you paid $50? I am a meaningful entity. Yesterday only I asked some money from you. You told you did not have. Now you have paid $50 for a meaningless word. Stop this nonsense. We should not imitate others. Then this husband, all this dialogue is what? Between the husband and wife. Husband is in his meditation posture with closed eyes. So husband told, see, I have given word and I should not break my word. So don't disturb me. Then she thought this fellow is not going to hear. So she started scolding. And finally she said, let me see your mantra gives you food. Let me see your mantra cooks and let me see your mantra washes your cloth like that. She scolded and I am going to my mother's house like that. She took her suitcase and she went out of the house. While going, she simply shut the door and the door, that banging sound was there. Up to this time, this person was with closed eyes. When he heard this banging sound, he opened his eyes. My God, mantra works so quickly. So, even if you sit for prayer, there are people in our own family who never allow us to strike relationship with the Lord. And they are afraid if you sit more than 45 minutes or 1 hour. Correct? Whether this person will leave home and go away. And if you sit in front of TV 3 hours, they are happy. See the thinking level of general mind. You sit in front of the TV and hear that idiotic dialogues and debates and noiseful discussions which happen to be full of lies. Family members are comfortable with your existence. But if you sit same 3 hours in front of Bhagavan, in front of puja room, they are afraid. Therefore, Prahalada says, if like that your family situation is there, you better leave for some time from your family in order to strike the relationship with the Lord, because of which relationship you can cut asunder all binding relationships. Shastra is never against any relationship, but Shastra is always against binding relationship. You relate with every individual in the creation. Why every individual? With every creature in the creation. You can talk to rivers, you can talk to mountains, you can talk to animals. That's why in our Shastra you will find full of dialogues of animals and rivers. That's why we respect them not as an ordinary inert thing. We respect them as what? Mother Ganga, Ma Ganga, Ma Dharti, Mother Earth. So it's not inert thing. You can strike relationship with even inert thing, even small creatures. That's why all our gods will have one vahana. Such a big hefty elephant trunk god will have what vahana? Rat vahana. Imagine, one elephant goes and sits on the rat. Imagine. Possible? Possible. Relationship, bhavanas. Relationship means what? Bhavana. You can love any individual, whatever may be the condition of that individual. Even if you are a hefty fellow like elephant, but still you can have a nice relationship with what? A smallest creature like rat. So that is the culture, this culture. And here Prahalada says, first strike a relationship with the Lord and you will be free from all binding relationship. You will have comfortable relationship without any bondage. You can connect with every creature in the creation. When Hiranyakashipu heard this, he laughed at. And he saw the teachers. Shandamarkas are there, ne? They are the personal teachers. Yay, fellows. This syllabus I never gave. Harim Ashrayete. The syllabus is not, because he was the designer, syllabus designer, Raja. And my syllabus is what? Hiranyakashipave Namaha. Who taught this fellow Haraye Namaha? And he says, Harim Ashrayete. One should surrender to Narayana Harihi. So who gave this teaching? As even he saw them, the teachers were government paid teachers. So they shivered at his angry face. They told, Raja, we have not taught. Okay, take care. Take them back. Correct that fellow. Watch him. Who is spoiling? Who is spoiling his mind? Watch him. So they took him. And teachers were terribly afraid of Hiranyakashipu. They argued with that Prahalada, who taught all these out of syllabus subject? He never taught. We ourselves don't know all these things. Who taught? Kutastubhyam yesha buddhi viparyayaha. Who gave these wrong advices to you? First semester only you have passed. Just now. We never taught. Who taught? What is that buddhi, viparya buddhi? Viparyaya buddhi means wrong conviction. What is that wrong conviction? Harim ashrayete. Surrendering to the Lord is wrong conviction as far as these teachers are concerned. That is the nature of a worldly mind. If you tell to your family members, Bhagavan alone is real I am ready to sacrifice everything for the sake of God. They will tell which girl you are loving. Even if she is not our caste, we will marry. Out of love failure, you are talking like that, they will talk. If you tell, I am going to lead a monastic sannyasi life and dedicated for Bhagavan alone, parents, what they will think? What happened? Love failure or what? Or any medical problem or what? So same thing. Kutastubhyam yeshaha buddhihi viparyayaha. Why I am comparing present situation and Hiranyakashipu's period? Same syllabus only going on. World is like this only, you know? Same only. Society will be always same. Because world is word and it leads life. People lead their life according to their convictions and understand. Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna used to say, for everyone, his own watch is the right watch. Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna used to say, everyone thinks that his watch shows the right time. Similarly, these teachers, Chandamarkas, told what is the syllabus given by the government, that is the correct thing, and that only we will teach you. You should not worship a Narayana. When they scolded him, this matured 5-year-old boy, he did not find fault with them, nor he disrespected them. He thought, what a beauty of Maya. What a beauty of Maya. Such a children, the Chandamarkas are children of Shukracharya, such a grand person. Shukracharya did not accept Prahlada as his disciple. As even Prahlada entered the school, Shukracharya went on leave. Because Shukracharya, this is problematic boy. This fellow will bring trouble to me. Like that, he thought 3 years leave, paid off. So he went on leave. So naturally the responsibility of taking this Prahlada came to Shukracharya's children, Chanda and Marka. So Prahlada says, such a wise person Shukracharya, Brahmagnani, and his children are deluded with this type of Narayana Dvesha. Because Shukracharya was grand because of Narayana Bhakti. And this Hiranyakashipu was the creation of Shukracharya. Understand? He gave all the means to gain the power. And after earning the power, which is not his own power, this fellow declared, I am all powerful. When disciple declared, I am all powerful, teacher thought, oh, the same statement may come to me also. He may not recognize me as all powerful. He may not recognize Bhagavan as all powerful. So it is better to go on paid leave. So he went on. Prahlada wonders, how is it? That is the Maya of the Lord who can delude the children of even wise people. Prahlada told, see, just as the iron pieces are naturally attracted to a magnet, so my mind is automatically attracted to the Lord. The relationship between me and the Lord is eternal, untaught. I don't know who has taught me this teaching, but it is there in my life. Neither anyone can separate me, nor anyone can divert my mind from the Lord. When he told, the teachers could not appreciate this assertion, so they scolded Prahlada. They told, Aniyata mare vetram asmakam ayashaskaraha kulangarasya durbuddhehe taturtosyodito damaha. Bring that stick. We will punish this fellow. Whether you worship Narayana or Hiranyakashipu, we don't bother. Then why you are going to beat me? You are Ayashaskaraha. You are bringing bad name for our Gurukula. Because so far this Gurukula followed meticulously the syllabus given by the government. Now you are trying to change the syllabus. So you are bringing bad name for us. And you are a thorny bush in the sandalwood forest of Asurakula. If Asurakula is compared to sandalwood forest, you are the thorny bush. because Vishnu is our enemy. That is the syllabus. Vishnu is our enemy. So they brought him to school and conducted special classes for Prahalada. When child doesn't study and parent asks, please manage my child, what did the teacher do? Special class. But the fun is, same syllabus. This fellow doesn't study because of syllabus problem. Okay. But we conduct special classes with the same syllabus. So what is here special class? Don't tell Narayana. He will tell Narayana. Teacher will tell, don't tell Narayana. Prahalada will tell Narayana, Narayana. Don't tell Narayana. Prahalada will tell Narayana, Narayana. So as he went, class over, the teacher went, okay, tomorrow we will see. In the absence of teachers, other fellows are there in Gurukula. One fellow will act like a teacher, another fellow will act like a Prahalada. Don't tell Narayana, Narayana, Narayana. Don't tell Narayana, Narayana, Narayana. Like that, mimicry going on. And these teachers who went for Bhiksha, when they came, whole ashrama is Narayana, 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 Narayana. Don't tell Narayana, Narayana, Narayana. Don't tell. Then they got afraid because if news goes, syllabus is not followed. If news goes to the government, what happened? Suspension. So they what they did? They took the boy Prahalada and complained to Hiranyakashipu. Your son is beyond our correction. He spoils the entire Gurukula and no fellow is now following the syllabus. So he has his own syllabus. Sanketyam parihasyam va sthopam helanam eva va Vaikunta namagrahanam ashesha agaharam viduhu, he says. You tell Narayana Nama, whether casually you tell or with angry mood you tell, scolding type you tell or laughing type you tell, but Narayana Nama will give you punyam and it will purify you, it will give you freedom, like that. New syllabus he is telling, sir. So we don't want this boy who changes our syllabus. As even he came, he prostrated to Hiranyakashipu. Prahalada, as a obedient child, prostrated to Hiranyakashipu. Whatever it may be complained, father is father. So the Hiranyakashipu took the child and nicely blessed him. Dirghayushman Bhava. Who blesses? Hiranyakashipu blesses. Such a tapasvi. So that time Bhagavan Narayana told Tatastu. Because hereafter only exam is going to happen. Okay. First itself, Dirghayushman Bhava. Narayana told Tatastu. Father's blessing is the highest blessing. Tatastu. Then Hiranyakashipu asked, my dear, tell me the best teaching which you have received from your teacher. Guroho yad ashikshate swadhitam kinjit uttamam anucyatam. Then Prahalada told, same question last summer occasion he asked. Oh, maybe father might have forgotten. What was the question? What is the best teaching you learned by which highest good will come to human life? What was the answer? Harim Ashrayeta. Surrendering to the Lord will lead to highest good to every human being, and that is the best teaching. Now same question is asked. Whatever is best teaching, you please tell when he asked. Then Prahalada thought, oh, when I told Hari Bhakti is the best teaching, now he may be asking, what are all the means to get that Hari Bhakti? Like that, Prahalada thought. So he told, Shravanam Kirtanam Smaranam Vishno Pada Sevanam Archanam Vandanam Dasyam. Like that, 9 types of devotional practices are there. Shravanam, hearing the Lord's glories. Kirtanam, singing Lord's glories. Smaranam, thinking about Lord's glories. Padasevanam, serving the Lord. Archanam, worshipping the Lord. Like that, Navavidha Bhakti, he says. When Hiranyakashipu heard, he was very, very angry. Because the question was, what was the essence of your learning? The answer is what? Devotion is the essence of my learning. First question is what? What was the best thing a person can do in his life which can lead to highest goodness? What is that? Surrendering to the Lord. Now the question is what? What is the essence of your learning? He says devotion is the essence of my learning. So, while answering, Prahlada was seated on the lap of the Hiranyakashipu. As even this Hiranyakashipu heard this reply, simply he took that child and threw away. Hey Brahma Bandhu, you are enemy to Asura Kula. With a trembling voice, teachers are there standing. So when Raja got angry, these fellows, Namat Pranitam, Napara Pranitam. Nanga sollale, we never taught this. We never taught this Hari Bhakti like that. Then Hiranyakashipu asked Prahlada, who taught this? This particular type of perverse education, who taught? Prahlada says, Matirna Krishna Paratasvato va Mitobhipadyeta Grihavratanam Adanta Gobhir Vishatam Tamistram Punascharvita Charvananam. He says, as long as a person is attached to worldly things so long, he will not get this Vishnu Bhakti due to extreme desires for sense pleasures. Oh my dear father, you are suffering out of samsara, which is in the form of eating the eaten one. It's a beautiful expression. Every person who is attached to sensory pleasures eats only what he already ate. Punaha charvita charvanana. Chewing the cud, you might have heard in English. So already it is chewed one. Same thing you have to eat. Same idli, same dosa, same sambar, same vegetable. Maximum 20 items. Charvita charvananam. Same type of sense pleasures, same cinemas, same love stories, same type of talking about same stories of human struggle, hearing about the same good old human suffering. It will be a monotonous life in the absence of Lord. Entire life will be a monotonous life. Then Hiranyakashipu asked, if you did not learn this lesson from your teachers, then how you got this conviction? Prahlada himself did not know how he got. Nobody told that he got all these things from Narada. But he infers, if at all I get this conviction, that can be because of Mahat Seva. Then Hiranyakashipu told, don't have these convictions. These are all not truthful ones. Stop this, all this nonsense. Lead a normal life. Lead a normal life. When he was told, and Prahlada says, Father, it is my Swabhava. This Vishnu Bhakti is my Swabhava. Like breathing, like heartbeat, it is my Swabhava. I cannot get away from the thoughts of the Lord. Because you are asking me, what is the highest good? The truth is, surrendering to the Lord is the highest good. You are asking me, what is the essence of all learning? And the truth is, devotion to the Lord is the essence of all learning. That's what in Tamil, Tirukkural, Thiruvalluvar says, Kattradhanal aya payanenkol valarivan natral tholareni. What is the use of your education if you don't have a loving heart towards the Lord? If you don't worship the Lord, what is the use of your education? These are all verified conclusions. So the essence of all education is devotion to the Lord. The grandest, noblest thing a person can do in his life is surrendering to the Lord. And the surrender and devotion can come only through Mahat Seva, through the Sadhu Sangha and blessings of the great people. When Prahlada told, I cannot lie to you, my dear father. You are my father. I cannot tell lie. This is the truth. Whenever you ask me the truth, I have to tell the truth. Whether you accept it or not, whether you understand it or not, this is the truth. This is not my prejudice. This is the truth revealed by scriptures. I don't know who taught me scriptures, but that is the conviction. This conviction is not due to my whims and fancies. This conviction may be due to Guru Kripa. As long as a person is not able to bow down to this great Sadhu Sangha, he may not get this teaching. When he told this, Hiranyakashipu simply ordered his people to kill the boy. That was the first. So far he was cajoling, threatening like that. Now he ordered, kill this boy. And you know that story. All attempts were made. Every attempt, he came again. And Hiranyakashipu thought, see, I got boon that I should not be killed by weapons, I should not killed by any individual, I should not be killed when I am thrown from the mountain, in waters, fire should not kill me, like that. I got all boon. All these boons are working for my son. All these boons are received by me for my sake, but these are all working for my son. Will it work for me or not? That was the worry, and story continues. We will see in the next class. Satyavratam satyaparam trisatyam satyasya yonim nihitam cha satye satyasya satyam vrata satyanetram satyatmakam tvam sharanam prapannaha. Om shanti shanti shanti. Harihi Om Tat Sat. Shri Ram Krishna Arpanamastu.